Why did King Saul allow young David to fight Goliath? Before I break down why a young David was able to convince King Saul to fight Goliath when so much was on the line, subscribe and press the notification bell so that you can get notifications of more of these types of videos. Young David did not look or appear like someone who was able to defeat a warrior champion, so it doesn't make sense on a surface level why King Saul would entrust someone who he described as a lad with such an important feat. In the last video, I described how Goliath challenged the military of Israel to a one-on-one combat competition against him, provoking them to send their best man to fight him to settle the conflict between Israel and the Philistines, and how the only person to accept the challenge was young David, who was able to get a meeting with King Saul to audition for the king's blessing to fight Goliath. In 1 Samuel 17:31-37, we see King Saul's skepticism of young David's ambition, dismissing it as a severe mismatch. But when young David tells him of the story of how he rescued his father's sheep from out of the claws of a lion and a bear, he grabs the king's undivided attention. Even though King Saul was rejected, he was not always rejected, and God also anointed him at one time during his younger years as a young man, not too much older than young David. These were two men anointed by God himself, who both had to rear their father's animals as young men, as a reference mentions that Saul had to tend to his father's donkeys in 1 Samuel 9:3. Saul understood the strength of tending to animals and the principles aligned with the courage needed to complete such a task successfully. So young David was speaking his language. Any average man would not have allowed someone like young David to be the representative of Israel in such a fight with the kingdom on the line. But King Saul was no average Joe. These were two Israelite rulers who God anointed, who would become bitter rivals, but who understood each other even though their backgrounds were complete opposites. Regardless of how young David appeared to mortal men, King Saul knew that God was with him, and by him not being too thrown off by young David's outward appearance shows why King Saul was special above most men. Or maybe a broken clock can still be correct twice a day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell, as these commentaries show how power can be holy when it is ordained by God.